Hello, Scrappy Peeps. Suzanna here today for Simple Stories to share with you this 2-page multi-photo cat layout created using the Pet Shop collection. This is the perfect collection for all your feline photos. So I am mixing both the just the basic collection with the cat specific collection. This is basically a photo dump of my December photos. So if you are a pet owner, you know that they're cute and they're adorable. And well, if you have cats and dogs, probably, maybe not so much with a turtle, definitely not with our frog, but I have way more photos on my cell phone camera roll of the cats probably than I have of the humans that live in this house. So I also have a lot of really awesome paper selections to choose from here. And so to me, one of the best ways of getting a mix of all of those papers is to go ahead and create some banners. So I'm going to do fat banners, skinny banners, tall banners, short banners, and I will save you the agony of watching me cut all of the strips and all of the banners by just showing you the basics and then skipping ahead. So I am using as many of the pattern papers as I can, and I'm just, at this point, I'm looking for a mix of the solids or the B-sides with the patterns, like these collars and the hearts and the yarn balls, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out all of those strips. I am going to show you this particular strip because I thought that cat with the heart was cute and that it might come in handy, but there's a lot of really cool B-sides on the back of the elements. So you can see I've got all of those tall, short banners, but you can also create a banner easily by just splitting a card top and bottom there. But when you notch it, you just have to remember if there's directionality to the paper that you notch it appropriately. So this is where I'm going to go ahead and notch them. It's super simple. I'm just going to create a slit halfway in the middle and then cut up on a diagonal from corner to the top of that notch, and there, voila, is your banner. And so I will do that with all of the pieces, and I will spare you the agony of having to watch that because it makes for a very long video. Ta-da! Done! And I want to add a little bit of texture to a few of these banners, and again it just adds some color and some visual interest. And so I'm using a very old piercing stencil. It's actually probably more of a, I'm not sure what it is or who it's by, as well as my Tim Holtz piercer, and I am just punching holes to hand stitch in there. And you can see how in order to keep it well aligned, I just swing the stencil around. I also have a Tim Holtz ruler that has notches or holes that I also used for that. So I'm stitching with DMC floss. I wrap all of my floss so that I can see it, and I did 4 and 2 there because there's 6 strands in a DMC floss. I like to sew with 4, so you can sew with the 4, and then with the 2 you just knot it at the end, and then that creates obviously 4 there. So knotting off the end so that my thread doesn't come sliding through. And I'm going to go ahead and just do a running stitch. So down 1 hole, up 2 holes, and then back down the 1 hole. If you are new to hand stitching, please, pretty sure that that was pretty self-explanatory, but if you have questions, definitely let me know. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch 3 of those banners. Everything is stitched, and now I am adhering all of the banners down. And you know, when you lay things out and then you go and adhere them, like you can see I've shifted all of the photos so that I have room to actually do things. A, you change your mind, and B, you lose what you really had. And so I am going to shift things up a little bit. I had to split this photo in 2 because it crosses the left-hand side and the right-hand side of the page, and it worked perfectly because there's no face that gets split or cat that gets split. And then I want to know where the edge of my left-hand photo is, and then I'm going to mark that off so that I want my banners to end at the same spot too, because I want that nice white frame around all of these banners. With all of the pattern papers, it is included incredibly busy, and so you definitely need the white spaces on the layout in order to give your eye a rest from that craziness. I also have collages of photos which are also very busy, and they don't have white borders between them. It looked kind of funny that way, and so that creates even more busyness to this. So I wasn't sure about that 6x4 photo because it is the one photo that is 6x4, and I also realized that I really didn't have a place for a title and or journaling, so I held out that photo thinking that I might replace it with something else. And I knew what I was going to replace it with because you saw me save that card with the cat holding the heart. So you'll see where that comes in. You need to make sure when you've stitched, I like to lock off the back side so that the threads don't pop through, and I just use artist tape for that. So this bothered me a little bit, having a pattern paper next to a pattern paper with no solid to sort of delineate, but either way I was going to end up having a busy pattern paper next to a busy pattern paper. And honestly, it didn't really matter because it is going to have photos that overlay it. So you have to remember that they are going to cover. So I liked all of the overlapping banners. It gave it texture and variety to the layout. So I want to use this mat that says welcome, this doormat, again to give your eye a little bit of a break. The collage of photos is very, very busy, and so by having this dark black contrast to it, I am able to have my photo underneath, so you can see I'm creating a tip up there, and B, it provides a little bit of a break to your eye because you have this solid structure, so to speak, to look at, and it creates an interactive element on the page, and I really like that. Many of you often ask me in comments how I deal with that in a page protector. So what I do is I literally use a nail, my fingernail nail, to kind of score into the page protector a line where I want that edge to slip through. I'll slide the page down with the flap up, and then the flap will slip through the slit that I will cut in the page protector. So yes, with repetitive use, it can get drawn to the right and the left, but I'm not worried about that. It is what it is. The page is protected, and you can see the interactive element to it. So I cut white strips because I really like that thin white, calms the busyness. It gives you some white space between the photo and the banners. I thought that this multicolor I'm going to call it rainbow. It's not quite rainbow, but multicolor strip would look great underneath it too. And it does, but unfortunately it covers up too much of the banners. And so I'm just going to go with the white strip and leave that as it is. So originally my white strips were not 1/4 inch and they were slightly too big. I've got a plethora of white paper, and so I am just going to recut those. You can see there my second set of strips, and it's a teeny tiny detail, but it makes all the world of difference there in what you look at, what you focus, and whether you have a place to sort of stop and rest on the layout. So that white strip, and then the cat on the left, the 6x4 element card, and then the welcome doormat 3x4 element card just create some calming spots for you, some focus spots as you're looking around the layout. So you can see I have already dug through the various bits and pieces and pulled those out. I want to add a little bit of embellishment to it. There's a lot on the page, and do I need the embellishment? No, but I like to have the clusters, and I have the stuff, so I'm going to use it. So I've pulled out a lot of the tags, and cats historically like yarn. Mine are not really all that into yarn. It's funny. It's not this video. One that I put up yesterday. One of our cats in particular. So we have two. We have Jasmine. She is the tabby cat, the brown and black with the white tuxedo. And then we have Luna, who is her sister, who's the gray cat. Jasmine loves the manufacturer strips of pattern paper. Those white strips, and if she had been there, she probably would have picked up off the ground. I don't know what it is. So my cats don't like yarn, don't like thread, they like paper. Luna, we call her Tuna. She likes to eat photo corners. I don't know. It's funny at Christmas when we go to open the paper, she has munched through a lot of the corners of presents because she likes paper that much. So you can see I've got that giant yarn ball, and I thought it was cute that the cat was hiding behind the yarn ball, and it would give me somewhere to put a title and more journaling, but it's too big. It's disproportionate. And I actually really want more of that that reddy orange color in there. So I'm going to take that off and look for something else to go there. There was a saying underneath where I put perfect, but I didn't like it. It wasn't big enough really in contrast to that welcome in order to be my title. So you could see I used that perfect foam sticker there, and I'm going to layer up here some yarn balls. I like the way that the circles of the yarn balls provide contrast to all of the vertical movement created by the banners, as well as the vertical photos. So layering those up, and the tail covered up Jasmine, and so I decided to use that as a little bit more direction downwards to that photo of Luna waiting outside Mia's door for Mia to wake up and come and entertain her. So this is a mix of both the Pet Shop collection, just the generic one, as well as the cat collection in particular. Some of these elements I have a mixture of both. So I want you to know that you can lift up that welcome mat and that it is an interactive element. And so other than you seeing it come through the page protector, once it's in a page protector, you wouldn't know that. So this little tab, it is an indicator of that. I also like that it uses that maroon, reddy orange color as well, which is really the contrast that the layout needs, because there is so much gray and red from the photos itself. I felt like I needed a little bit more of a larger element in that top right cluster there. And so I'm going to put the Love My Pet sticker instead of what I had there. You can see I've got some of the black paws that are scattered throughout the layout, and they kind of create movement. They're like a visual triangle, but because it's a 2-page layout, there are actually going to be 4 of them. And so you start from the one by Perfect, you go up to the middle of the page, the 2 pages, down to the welcome, and then you're going to come up to the Love My Pet. So it creates kind of that zigzag moving across the page. I really wanted some string hanging out of that, so I used some baker's twine. So that is pretty much going to wrap up the layout. I'm going to put a couple of these phrase stickers, again, just to draw your eye to some of the photos and fill some of the white space in the photos. Not fill, but use some of the white space. So close-ups to follow. Thanks for stopping in today. If you have any questions about the collection or my design process, please don't hesitate to leave those in the box down below. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you are doing well. Come back again soon. Take care.